I'm holding up the milk, and I'm holding up the marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers, and the heart light, and the heart light, and the marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers. And of course, that's for all of you there, and especially Julianne Marie and Vanessa and Harlan Lewis Leviz, and you together, very importantly. So let's see if we, and of course, I have Anna Marie and Ma Patricia in mind too. There could be events there that I also will predict. So there is a potential of some volcanic eruptive activity there in Oregon, or also earthquake activity. They've had some already. So I will be leaving this message and talk to you soon. You know, you can call me 24/7, and the best thing will be once we've had a three-way call to get on that conference line while I'm broadcasting, and that will take care of the whole problem and protect our world, really, and everyone in it, and give us a new world. Hi, holy baby Julia Marie. I'm holding up the milk. I'm broadcasting. I'm holding up the heart light and the marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers. There they are. And I'm holding up the cakes, both of them. Okay. Okay, there we are. Cakes. You can see them. See, they're there. Okay. And this way too. This way too. Okay. And what I'm going to say is this. I'm going to be doing a broadcast today, and I'll do a stereo version of it on the 2345 line. And I'm going to be predicting some earthquakes. And I'm also going to be saying the people who could stop them from becoming worse. I'm quite sure you're going to have some earthquakes in Illinois, or some other sort of mishap. So I will also predict that it could be a man-made mishap in Illinois and some other places. But I think more likely what I'm looking upon is that the Mother, Father, Goddess, God will act as my voice here. The Mother, Father, Goddess, God will act as my voice in getting the attention of people to break the denial system around patriarchy. And so the earthquakes will break that denial system. But because I am doing what I'm doing, they will not be as severe. There will be earthquakes, though, but they will not be as severe. And what will stop these earthquakes from becoming more severe and repeating themselves is gathering of the women. You know who I'm talking about, you, Georgine, and obviously I would like to see Marion and all the other women who are great on the breastfeeding issues and the baby issues and mother-baby issues, and also Georgine and maybe Geodora and Martha from your building, and maybe anyone else that you'd like to bring in. I think Nisa would be very good, and then we can eventually quickly probably bring in her sister and other sister Kazinas that we've gone to school with there in Illinois. Illinois is going to be ground zero for these earthquakes. But there also may be some in California based on what our family is currently doing. We have a patriarchal rogue wing of our family, and they don't know what they're doing because they don't have the education to know about yin and yang balance in the universe and on the earth. They don't have that education. It's not really given very well to anybody. So people act out, and we've all been acting out all our lives without recognizing how deeply embedded in patriarchy we've all been, including myself. So I'm the only one who's risen mostly out of it. Everybody else is heavily, heavily dumped into it right now. So you need to be aware of this. Now, I consider you to have great heart light and all that goody stuff within you, but I see that you're in denial. And there is a reason for that. And I think you can become the greatest expert in the world on the importance of on-cue baby feeding. I think that you can save and you can bring human genius to billions of people by telling your story. In other words, goddess godhood, in other words, equinox true Qhood, to billions of people, simply by telling your story and how it impacted on you. I found an excellent article about longitudinal studies of babies and then later adults who had colic. And it is an eye-opener. But you are a very gifted person, and you have every right to good healing and full healing. And it is possible. And Jane Hawes was right. And so, of course, I say the names of us, Hera Harriet and Rhea Rayet and Clara Ra and Risen and Lilia with Lillian Gay and Precious Antoinette and Risen Rose and Grandma Margulies, Grandma Popper and Dorothy and all the Shekinah and Lynn and Rachel and Carrie and all of the Shekinah of our intertwined family trees and a lot more, and many who bear our names double, triple. Our names are mentioned all over in the family tree as sisters. That's such an important name pairing that the universe is like throwing it at us, that there's a bunch of them. And also I include obviously Vanessa's family in this, her mother and her family also very critically important to the future there. And Marion and Hadass, very, very critically important to our family and pulling out of this. And also I include the men of our family because they do want democracy and they do not want to see the planet destroyed, and they would like to have the stargates open too, and they know they have to wait a little bit and be a little gentlemanly like in order for that to happen. And that includes Julian, Lois, Alan, Amo, Oscar, Paul, and the younger brothers, Joseph and Milton. But that comes after saying that you and all these women, and I should have said first, this younger generation, Hadass and Vanessa, and Harlan knows the biz, with Soma, with Stacey Anastasia, with all of these young women coming in with their mothers, and then the young women then the mothers with the fathers, also with the sisters and the sister Kazinas. That's the anointing procedure. And then you will have apotheosis. You will have it. But I think you need some earthquakes to wake you up first. And I think I have to act like Audra in that episode of Star Trek where she kind of predicted earthquakes, but I'm a more benign version because my job is to prevent a much worse earthquake. And I think that's the way I'm going to do it, because Goddess is certainly listening to me and would like to save all of their children on this planet. So I think they'll cooperate. So I'm going to do it that way. And of course, Donia Rorflees and Rory Rainbow Sweetheart, and Donia Rorflees say hi and hugs to Heather and Jam and Heather. And on behalf of Whiskers and Tiger and Holly and Tiger and Buttermilk and Blackie and Buttermilk and Felix and all the flora and the fauna and the butterflies, the birds and the bees. And all the people and the furry friends and pets, the two marvelous big white dogs, the female and the male, and the marvelous butterflies, birds, and the bees, and all the people too of our local, global, and universal neighborhoods as co-secretary generals, co-sefiras, equinox, true Qs. Our sisterhood is the key to healing the rift that is the greatest fault line on this planet. Our sisterhood, our fault line, must be healed, and with the entire circle, in order for us to protect the circle that is this planet. I'm quite sure of it. You have great good within you, but you need to wake up. Every blessing, I'm sending this message. Huge hugs, huge hugs, huge hugs, huge hugs, huge hugs. Inward. Hadassah and Marion and Hadassah and all your Shekinah, Naomi and Ruth are the names I give to your great and grandmothers. I'm not sure of them, but those are the representative names I'm giving anointed for the moment. Darlings, I am taking the plan of predicting low-level earthquakes, lower-level earthquakes, by predicting them now and seeing that the Mother, Father, Goddess, God expresses the validity of my prediction based on what is occurring and not occurring in our family systems and in our institutional systems too, our governmental and our economic systems and all of that. All of that is provocation to earthquakes. However, by predicting it this way, and I am broadcasting and people can hear what I'm saying to you, I hope to motivate the very gifted members of my family, the women, the youth, females and males aged 37 and younger. You know I'm talking about the people that I've been emailing, and you know who they are. You've received lots of letters, including you. Motivating you to form the circles that I've suggested and act as co-secretary generals, co-saviorahs, to discuss and deliver, co-deliver the new millennial golden rule. Because I believe that that will save our planet. And I also believe it will give you and everyone that you know the opportunity to open the stargates and have apotheosis and become fully risen human beings. In other words, equinox true Qs. So I'm leaving this message for you again. People can hear me. You are extremely important. Both of you are very, very important. This is your month. More than anybody else in the family, this is your month. And I cannot tell you how important you are. So I want people to know it. You two, in conjunction with our family circles and other sister Gazinas, including my sister and I've left a message with her too, and I'm going to do another one of those, can save the world, like true Qs in Star Trek. So, but I have to act. There's another episode of Star Trek. Star Trek has been a very great influence on me. There's another episode of Star Trek where there is a woman who is called Audra. And she is not at all like me. She's rather patriarchal, actually, and she's a very seductive type, sexually seductive type, not like me at all. But she does predict earthquakes in the episode. And I believe that I am informed by that episode, that by predicting this now, because I know the deeper levels of system here, everything is Our Cozina geobiologist Lynn Margulies said the theory that everything is interconnected, and I believe that's at every level of system: family system, governmental system, economic system, and earth system, earth and planetary and universal system. So that's why I feel if I can kind of predict a lower level of danger and it occurs, then we can prevent the higher level of danger if people remain in denial about patriarchy and delay any further the switch to parity. So that's my theory, and I'm operating on that approach. And you're welcome to help me. And as soon as you're available and you can do this with me, you have a great time. If you think very deeply about things, there's usually a solution or a better answer. I think a lot, but I don't always come up with the right answers, but I'm working on it. It helps better when you have a team. So let's work as a team, like on Star Trek. Every blessing.
Urgent delivery. Thank you. Your message has been sent. can't come to the phone right now, but
Hi, Stacy Anastasia. I am broadcasting and people can hear me. I've decided the way to go about this situation needs a little bit of legerdemain with the assistance of Mother, Father, Goddess, God. So what I am saying to you and to everyone that, you know, my usual core group of Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Sefiras, your mother, my sister, and Vanessa with Hadass and Rachel Marie and all the other young women, and with Hadass and with Vanessa and Harlan Lewis Leviz as a young couple with the other sisters, Soma with her brother. I'm making a prediction to you all that there are going to be earthquakes in Illinois, centered in Illinois. There may be also some simultaneously on the West Coast. It has to do with some things that my family, the more patriarchal wing, is doing right now. And it is provoking them. And I think you are going to have some earthquakes there, but I am going to be saying this online so people can hear me, that by my saying this, I will mitigate their severity. Also, you are likely to get personal feedback. Both Vanessa and Harlan Lewis Leviz and you have not been connecting with me and Hadass and all of you, the young people and their mothers and all of that. So you're likely to get some level of personal feedback that is negative. But I am hoping by saying this and predicting it, it will be mitigated in its severity, very easy to recover from, and motivate you to work together in the way I have been describing as coming to as co-broadcasters, as co-hostesses, and then we'll also have young men, including your brother, co-host, and with Vanessa, of course, a co-hostess and co-hosts with their mothers and all the Shekinah on these broadcasts. And that will literally not only save the world, that will open the stargates.
You have reached the maximum time allowed to make your recording. To review or re-record your message, press 1. To mark your message urgent, press 2. Marked urgent. Your message has been sent. To send a message to another subscriber, enter the area code and phone number of that subscriber, or press the star key to enter your own mailbox.
I'm going to be talking about the medical team that I think prematurely caused your mother's demise and is causing Harlan Lewis LaViz to have Crohn's disease when he could have been cured of it a long time ago. I've given him a better doctor by the name of Martha Howard, who is more holistic, and I want that to be known, and I'm definitely broadcasting this right now.
To review or re-record your message, press 1.
Hi there, Stacey Anastasia. I'm calling.
To review or re-record your message, press 1. To remove the urgent step, your message has been sent. To send a message to another subscriber, enter the area code and phone number of that subscriber, or press the star key.
Vanessa and Harlan Lewis LaViz and Vanessa have already left messages for Georgine and for Hadass and Marian earlier in the day, Soma and Meredith, and I actually have several for Hadass and Marian, and of course Julianne Marie and Georgine, and we got lots more that are going to be coming. I want to say I've come to a logical conclusion about this situation. People will not heed me. But Mother, Father, Goddess, God is definitely listening to me. And Mother, God, Father, Goddess, God would like to help you all enjoy eternal life as equinox true Qs rather than die in a big earthquake and nuclear power plant disaster in the Chicago area. So what I think I'm going to do is predict that you are going to have some health problems, and that you are going to go to the wrong doctor, because I think that's what you keep wanting to do, and that you are going to suffer some mishap. But that by my saying this, it will be less of a mishap. And I'm broadcasting this so the entire world can hear. That anything that would happen to Vanessa and Harlan Lewis LaViz or Julianne Marie or any of the people of our family will be less cursy, less worse, and a little bit more easy to recover from. Actually fairly easy to recover from, but enough to really get your attention. Because other than that, I don't think I have any way of convincing you before you hit really ground zero of an earthquake and a horrible personal situation there. That patriarchy that you are following and that our family is doing is dangerous to everyone's health and well-being and future and best giving of their gifts. It's really getting in all of your way. And you have to temporarily let go of older father figures long enough to let them come back into a circle is more like partners, reconciling with people that they have not paid enough attention to and that they've treated like pets. And they come into partners with women and not as dominators. and that help the women who are adjusted to letting men be dominators and even encouraging them to be, to learn that that does not work, and it does bring some manner of earthquakes. So now I do say all the names of Vanessa's mother and grandmother. I'm going to do these special for you because now I am going to be doing the ceremony on 2345 stereo, but I encourage you to watch it online, and certainly when I start the ceremony, I'll put it on the call-in line, and that's 641-715-3580 access code 773342. And but I'll say that, of course, as Victoria and Libertia and Mariama and Estrella and Raquel and Sharon and Lynn. Now, Lynn Margulies is another Lynn in our family, and she was a geobiologist, and she said everything was connected. And I know that Mother Earth would like to have her children know how to take care of her and one another instead of exploiting and hurting one another and ignoring her signals. So that's why I'm doing it this way. I'm predicting that you're going to have some earthquakes because I know and I'm going to make sure that the court systems there know that, and that the legal systems there know that, and that the media systems there know that, and the media systems all over the place know that. Because I have to predict it this way, and I have to get it out widely enough, and people do watch these videos, and they watch the broadcasts, to avert a worse disaster that would devastate everybody and might result in a terrible situation for both of you. I don't want that, and I don't want that for Julianne Marie either. But I do predict some level of mishaps for all of you, So that's what I'm doing, and I am doing several other things that I've thought of to try to mitigate the situation and get your attention. So you decide to be Co-Secretary General's Co-Secretary and deliver the new Millennial Golden Rule and enjoy being Equinox True Qs and having a better world than better world and worlds time for all the future than even Salia and Wesley. Yeah. That's my plan. And so I also say the names of all our family. And of course, it's Hera Harriet and Rhea Rayette, and it's Hera Harriet and Rhea Rayette and Clara. And it's Hera Harriet and Little Ya, who we're trying to prevent from unnecessarily going on to the other side of the Stargate. But we hope we can do that. And so she can stay on this side of the Stargate, and Harriet can come through to her, all of us. And all of our family can. And that has left prematurely, and also precious Antoinette and Risen Rose and Grandma Popper and Dorothy and Grandma Margulies, Grandma Popper and Dorothy. I've already called Stacey, Anastasia, and Hadass and all these people, you know. And so listen to 2345 if you're not watching on the screen. And the videos or on the Hangouts, you know, you can call me 24/7. My advice is to not go to the wrong medical team, but I have a feeling that you're stuck in that mode, and you're going to have to experience something fairly frightening. But I'm hoping not, because you can call Martha Howard and start up with a more holistic team. So. And I say this in honor of Donia Rorflees and Mary Rainbow Sweetheart, and Donia Rorflees, and also the men of our families. Let me get to that first. And did I say also Lynn and Rachel and Carrie? And I'll also say the names of the men of our families. And Julian, Lois, Alan, Emil, Oscar, Paul, Joseph Milton, and the younger brothers of Joseph Milton. And them, and also Carl, because the men would like the women and the youth to go first, and you go first, and then their names can be said aloud. And so I say this in honor of Donia Rorflees and Mary Rainbow Sweetheart, and Donia Rorflees. Say hi and hugs to Heather and Jam and Heather, and on behalf of Whiskers and Tiger and Buttermilk and Blackie and Buttermilk, and Whiskers and Tiger and Holly, and let me say Whiskers and Tiger and Holly and Tiger and Whiskers and Blackie and Buttermilk and Blackie with all their Shakina and Felix too, and all of the flora and the fauna and the the furry friends and the pets, including the big white dogs, female and male, and butterflies, birds, the bees, and all the people of our local, global, universal neighborhoods. You have a birthright to be co-secretary generals with all of our family circle of Shekinahs and young Shekinahs and Ekinas. Don't blow it, and you know, you can call me 24/7. Huge hugs, huge hugs, huge hugs, huge hugs, huge hugs.
No name. Type playback and
Hi, this is another message for Vanessa and Harlan News-Leviz. Harlan News-Leviz and Vanessa. You have no idea how important you are with your mothers and their Shekinahs, and with Hadass, and with Stacey Anastasia and Soma. Now, I've started some messages for you, and I'm going to come back to this one. You are extremely important. You are as important as everyone. Each one of you is uniquely and extremely important. And I have to say, my nephew, this message is particularly for Harlan News-Leviz, couldn't be more important among young men. There's a couple of other young men in our family who are maybe equally important with you. I think so. And I think the more that you look at each other that way, the more power you all have with your young Shekinahs, Vanessa and Stacey Anastasia and Hadass and Soma and all of it. Then you will have a lot of love power when you begin to get beyond your own ego and look at the gifts of other people. But I know, because you, Harlan News-Leviz, were raised by Ashara Harriet in part, and Julianne Marie and I in part. I know you got lots of goodies. And I know you have certain love powers because I know you better. So I know that you do. However, if you tried to do them without your family in the circle, you wouldn't have any good powers, and you'd go bad. It would go really wrong, and you would get very, very sick, and Goddess God would not allow you to do too much. So I want you to know that, all of you, because if we don't make that circle, what will come out of this is a horrific time for everyone. And even those who think that they benefit from pushing other people around will have a horrific time, because Mother, Father, Goddess God are the bigger players in this, and they control the earth. They control the earthquakes, the avalanches, and so forth. So they're the bigger player. Okay. Now I'm going to leave a longer message here in a little bit, and I am holding up the. I think I did. I don't know if I did it when I made the call for Vanessa. So let me make sure. I'll double do it for Vanessa. Vanessa and Harlan News-Leviz twice. I'm saying for you the heart, the cup of milk, and showing the heart light and the budding, blooming, marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers and the heart light. There's for Vanessa, and here again for Harlan News-Leviz, twice for both of you. And just in case I missed it when I was rushing through, because I'm rushing a lot, you know, I'm kind of doing a lot, and sometimes I miss a few details, but I mean this equally for Vanessa and Harlan News-Leviz, and for all their young friends, and for their mothers and Shekinahs, okay? And I'm holding up the cakes. There they are, okay? And I'm going to call back and leave another little message in a little while, a longer one.
mailbox of Julian.
Hi. Hi, I'm broadcasting. I'm broadcasting, and people can hear. They heard a snippet of you, and I've also already called a bunch of other people, and you're very, very important. And I've already left a message for you on the phone tree, where it's a little bit longer and more important there. I am holding up the milk though, and I'm holding up the budding blooming flowers and the heart light and the budding marvelous miraculous budding blooming flowers. Let's start with the heart light for you. Very important for you, my darling. And also the birthday cakes. And you're getting double duty on this. I'll tell you why. Because you started out life with an injury from Dr. Strauss. And Dr. Strauss needs to be confronted, and is right now being confronted. If you want to know, world, one of the biggest reasons this world is in trouble right now is because of a man named Dr. Strauss that harmed a mother and a baby, a little girl, in the 1940s. But that family is going to make sure that no baby and no mother are ever harmed like that again. So now I've left a longer message on the phone tree, and I'm just going to say, as Ray Rayet, Clara Ra, as Hera Harriet, with Lil Ya, with Lillian Gay, and with Precious Antoinette, and with Risen Rose, and with Grandma Margulies, and Grandma Popper, and Dorothy, and Lynn, and Rachel, and Carrie, and a lot more. You know all the names, and of course including Marion and Barbara and Nisa and Georgine has already received. They've all received a bunch of messages, but you are, in terms of the importance right now, in terms of our relationship with you, where the real fault line is. Okay, you'll hear that on the phone tree. I've said all the names of the women. You'll hear the rest on the phone tree, because this phone is held hostage, and I do not want to negotiate with dominators who destroy, not permanently, because it's recoverable, but who delay the goddess godhood of any women anymore, or any people, female and male, any younger people either, female and male, females and males.
To send your message, press 1 at any time. To listen to your message sent. Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
This time, I'm going to make some announcements very publicly. I'm not pulling any punches. Let me get on the conference line just in case anybody calls in. Okay, I'm recording while on the broadcasting, and there's some things I've decided about a strategy with this situation. I've decided that human beings in North America are too brainwashed to know the difference between parity and patriarchy or to care about it. That many of the women of this culture are either passive or have patriarchy-induced electrocomplexes, or also male identified due to the pressures of end stage patriarchy, and it is difficult for them without a big push from somewhere. And I am calling upon the Mother, Father, Goddess, God to bring about some earthquakes, and I think they will, to be at least a level that is not so serious but motivates. And I believe that all of the women of my family, including maybe even me, but I think all of the women of my family who have not been coming to these conferences are going to get some negative feedback, and so are their youth, females and males who are not coming to these conferences and who know about them. I think that all of you neighbors and friends and family, who are all in fact family, are going to get some negative feedback. And I believe that there is going to be a low-level earthquake in Illinois. And I am predicting this sort of as a prophylactic, so that your attention is gotten and that this is recorded, that it's on a record. And I've already indicated, obviously, in many times that there could be earthquakes in Illinois. I believe it will come very soon if people just continue to do what they're doing, i.e. if the women do not gather to talk with me as co-secretary generals, co-secretaries, and then bring their younger females and males age 37 and younger to these conference calls with them, or if these younger people don't gather and grab their mothers and bring them with them, their mothers and their older Shekinas, that all of these people will have some level of negative feedback. And I'm hoping by saying this that they are at a level that is recoverable. I do believe, I'm going to make it absolutely clear, that the medical team of, and I'm going to say the name like a little squeak, Dr. Metzke, because he's a little big squeak, is endangering the life and the lives and the happiness of Julianne Marie and Vanessa and Hala Nuslaviz. And that they need to go to Martha Howard very quickly, or everybody there will be in an earthquake of higher magnitude than if you did go and went to Martha Howard and dropped the nonsense that you're doing. Also, as long as any court, and I've already called the court and I'm going to call the court again to warn them, as long as they have a rogue case on the books to treat as hierarchical adversarial procedures that belongs in a family therapy office, they are inducing an earthquake there in Illinois. And I am making this very public, and I've already called lots of other people all over the place who know that I am predicting this earthquake. The only issue here is the magnitude level. What gave me the inspiration for this was an episode of Star Trek where there is not a very nice woman. Actually, she's a very rather patriarchal woman. She's very seductive and is only interested in having a sexual relationship with a male. No, that's not me. I'm interested in ending patriarchy and transforming to parity, so it's good for both genders, and there's no games around this. But I'm kind of a combination of her and Glenda, the Good Witch of the West, of the Wizard of Oz. I am going to predict the earthquakes accurately. And they will happen because Mother, Father, Goddess, God is watching. And they want to protect the children of their family and their earth, of all our family and all our earth and earths. So they want you to wake up. And by having this prediction made publicly and then it occurring, that will wake everyone up and tell them that the problem here is runaway rogue patriarchy in our culture and the patriarchalization of women as well as of men and affecting youth and children. So that's what I'm doing. And now I'm going to do the ceremonies. Now I'm going to say I don't really want to spend a lot of time on this call alone. making this call, although the ceremonies are very, very important. But I already did it this morning, and I do at least one a day, and so you're already in there for today. I bless you every day intercessorily in these ceremonies. They're Eliuko Savior all ceremonies, and that includes all the branches of the women on the Margulian, the Silverkindian, the Zalkindian, and the Feldmarian. And other branches that have interacted with these families, either as family members, in-laws, at any time, and neighbors. Neighbors are very important right now. Neighbors are the most important. Neighbors and any other colleagues and classmates and so forth. All of these families that I always mention to you, so that includes all the names that I've given. It also includes Sagan, and it includes Gardner, and includes Sweet, and it includes Hurst, and it includes many, many more. I don't know why I'm listing them. Sagan, yeah, because we have some women on that branch. We have Carrie, and we have Gruber Sagan, and we have Sweet, and we have Hurst, very important, the Hurst branch. People don't recognize the importance of that, and we have many other names who are in your community there too, also, and all around, who are involved in transitioning away from bad energy forms and more safe and sustainable energies. All of these people, all of them are already included in, you've seen them, and they're the people on this picture right now. I'm going to show the picture so that there's no doubt who I'm giving a blessing to here. And all the people who go beyond this group too, who are connected to them by by any of these surnames, all of them are included. Goldenberg and Anna Marie and Ma Patricia also, sunflowers and singing crickets. Okay, now you're looking at the here it comes. You're looking at the home that was the gathering place for women to try on hats, and they brought their children and their youths, females and males. There it is. Okay. And I'm also going to play the tape excerpt.
And then she said she couldn't use the name for everybody. Did you tell her that? That's when she came back and started to spell plants with the Broadcaszt Center. Her whole lot was to have her children there. She didn't, the was so introduced to get along, had nothing. She was careful, very careful. And there was a sister, Clara.
Okay, you've heard that many times. Now I'm going to do the ceremony, and then I'm also going to hopefully have some time to make some calls that you can hear me making. I'm definitely taking on the big boys, not just the little tyrants, but the big boys, because I have a bigger power. It's the Mother, Father, Goddess, God, the ultimate she and the ultimate he, who control the earth and all the universe, who are standing with me to recommend and implement the new millennial golden rule so that humanity is saved. And I believe they are standing with me, and they will try to stand with me as best as possible if I do observe a reasonable amount of courage and compassion and some logic in what I do. I'm not perfectly logical, and there's some inverted aspects of this, very paradoxical. So let's hope this works. But I'm working on it from that perspective. And so I'm going to do the ceremony now. And I did all the musical medley this morning. If there's time, I'll do it now, but I don't feel that I need to do that again right now. This is more important. Okay, let's do the ceremony, and then I'm going to make some major calls to political people and all that. I want you to hear them, because I know that Mother, Father, Goddess, God is standing with me, and I don't have to be afraid of anybody. What I have to be afraid of is women not standing up for themselves and each other, and men taking advantage of that to their own destruction. That's what we have to be afraid of. We have to be afraid of the destruction of our planet and the loss of our precious potential of gifts in sharing as a family. That's all we have to be afraid of. And karmically, that's what you have to be afraid of. Whatever happens in the outcome of this situation, karmically, what you have to be afraid of is not trying to love one another and not trying to save your earth. To try and to fail is better than to not try at all, karmically. So let's do this ceremony. The light is on. Oh, let's see. I need to do one more thing before I start. I started a message and I need to continue it. I'll come right back.
Speak after the tone. Press pound when finished.
Hi, dearest generation, youngest generations there, and all the circle there. I said I'd come back and leave you a longer message, and I'm going to do that right now. You can hear me a little bit. I'm going to go in and out on the mic. I'm going to go on mute for a moment now, because I want okay, you are heading for some personal problems, some problems in your relationship potentially, and also some health problems that may be of magnitude and could be life-threatening if you continue to go to the little pipsqueak rat and his medical team on the wrong paradigm. And people can hear me say that. And I'm predicting this, that you're going to run into trouble if you continue to do that and you don't call a better, more holistic team and work with me in family counseling also of Martha and others that you know that you can also call, but they should include a woman who optimally she's been to the Isle of Crete, so that's excellent. And it certainly should include people who will work with women and men and with a family counseling. And if you don't have that included, and it also needs to be a person who's willing to say very publicly, along with you as you say it to them, patriarchy is dangerous and parity is more successful and sustainable. If they can't say that, that's the wrong doctor for you. Okay? I'm the best doctor because I say that truth. Okay? Now, I predict that you will run into trouble because you haven't been heeding me, and I've been asking you for more direct contact with Vanessa also and with Harlan Luciviz. And by not heeding that, you're creating danger for many, many people, not only of yourselves. And you're following the rules of older adults. And I'm going to put it this way. A team in Ravinia is going to cause problems if they see a certain young family without family counseling, a certain young man and any of his family. And if that family continues to go to see that team, in any case, and don't go to a more holistic family counseling, including doctor, that even in a case of an emergency, that case is going to wind up with a tragic situation. So I'm predicting that, okay? Do you want to prove by the hard way? It's up to you. If you have to learn the hard way, then that's how you learn. But you can go to Martha and she'll be fine. And there's lots of others like her in the area and around that you can talk with, lots of family counselors, and that's the most important thing for our family, not even the medical doctor. The family counselor, the family therapist is the most important. been making predictions of earthquakes in Illinois and some personal problems for the people who I love the most, because I believe that as they do not heed my input with regard to the necessity of coming out publicly for the New Millennium Golden Rule and working as a team to bring forth saving of our planet with parity and paradisal parity on this and all planets instead of patriarchal planeticide, that the people of my family are incurring a feedback likelihood from the Mother, Father, Goddess, God that will be negative. And they hopefully will learn from it. It will be an epiphany for them. And I am predicting that some level of that will occur, and also earthquakes. Earthquakes centered in Illinois, but also possibly on the West Coast, because that's where there's certain family members of ours who are way over the line on patriarchal processes, and most farthest on the line, over the line. And they don't realize that they are. And the systems that they're dealing with are among the most patriarchalized systems. So they don't realize that they are. And those people are in the most danger as long as I make this prediction publicly, which I am doing right now. So I am predicting some level of hopefully lower level earthquakes in Illinois and some on the West Coast. Unless my family begins to gather with me immediately, as I have been asking as Co-Secretary General's Co-Secretary, then everything would be mitigated and we'd open up the stargates without ever having any earthquakes at all. We'd have no earthquakes and we'd have no personal mishaps. But if you don't want to heed me, then you have to have some level of feedback from the Mother, Father, Goddess, God, or the yin-yang system of Earth and the universe. So, so it will come in the form, I believe, by my making this prediction, of some level of personal problems and some threats to you, hopefully that will be not of a type that you can't recover from. In other words, you might trip and fall, or you might, or somebody, a wrong doctor could do something that causes you injury, or you might be in a car accident, but not a real bad one, or something of that nature that could cause you to wake up and say, you know, she's been telling us this for years and we're not paying any attention to her, and she's right. So then you won't have to go through the worst level, because you can, you know, there's difference between a 4.2 or 4.3 earthquake and a 9-point earthquake. There's a big difference. I'd rather, by doing this, let you have some level of personal problems and some of these rolling earthquakes in these places that I'm pinpointing because of the activity of our family and the inactivity of our family. And I'll say also, so I'm pinpointing Chicago and California right now, Los Angeles area. But I also will say that if the other people who are on the East Coast in our family don't begin to cooperate also, after these earthquakes occur, then there will be even more severe ones on the East Coast in New York, even worse. And there might be some here in Maryland if I don't do this right, but or some mishaps here. But hopefully, by making this prediction, I am doing a little bit less of danger. So now I'm going to do the ceremonies, and then we're going to make some calls, and I'm doing many things under the surface and contacting and changing my position in relationship to other people. I certainly have had the thoughts of what I have to do. I'm a little bit late on my cycling because I've been kind of chasing after you to do the right things and you're not doing. So I have to assume that we have to kind of do a paradoxical approach here. And you have to get other levels of feedback from the great powers of Mother, Father, Goddess, God, other than just for me. And that will motivate you and help you realize how important you are and how precious you are. So we'll say our ceremony now. We've already shown the beautiful home and played the, I'll do it once again. I'm not sure if it made it onto this tape, so let me do it again. We're showing that home that was a gathering place for generations with the hats, and the women brought their youths and children, and it's the prototype for the beginning of the risen feminine, and so necessary for divine democracy, and the risen masculine too. So we'll just play this.
A voice from
Okay, now we'll do our ceremony, and we are doing this in stereo. And after we do the stereo, we'll, in fact, I'll get on the other line. Well, I'll do the ceremony, and then because I haven't had you calling in, but I will after, as soon as the ceremony is done, I will get back on the conference line, which is 773. I'm sorry, 641-715-3580, access code 773 342. But I'm going to do the ceremony, and you've seen this before, and I'm not going to go in deep depth about first names of people. I'm just going to say some of the family names, the branch names. You might call them gens. That's what the way they used to call them in the old days, the gens. Or the clan names, as including Mom Patricia and Henry. We've got clan names, whatever you want to call them. They're clan names, and but they include females and males on all branches, and they intertwine. The branches do intertwine, and that's one of the illusionary things about surnames. They give you the notion that you're just related to one or two people, but in fact, you're related to a whole bunch of people always, and you're having a cycle of interactions of their previous karma with yours. Always. So so let me do this, and we'll just do the ceremony. And then I also want you to know, I have already called the courts that are involved in, and also the media company and media companies. You know, I sent, you all both know, I sent big emails out long ago to Oprah Winfrey and to Discovery Communications. That was done a long time ago. And they've gotten them, but they didn't respond to them because it is our family, and it's intertwining with a particular media company where the potential for great legerdemain of transition occurs. And so now I'm also doing to the one in the Los Angeles area that involves some of our family, because I did some of that before, and I certainly included that group in all of the people that I drew attention to. But so I'm talking now about Fox, but I already did Discovery Communications, NBC, Oprah, and ABC. And in fact, I think I did Fox a long time ago. But this gives it a good situation to begin to pull together the levels of system with faith in the Mother, Father, Goddess, God. See, that's what I'm having. My big belief is that Mother, Father, Goddess, God would like to save this planet. And if I act with compassion and courage bigger than the young man who stood in front of the tank in Tiananmen Square. Courage against the biggest institutions, as well as the little petty tyrants, as well as compassion for all of them, along with the people that they've been exploiting and misleading. That God as God will reward what I'm doing, and that we will become Equinox True Qs, and we will open the stargates, and we will not have terrible earthquakes. We will begin to mitigate the severity of what we're doing wrong to this planet, because we will switch from patriarchy to parity. So let me do this. I'm going to do this ceremony now. This is very spiritual to me, and I do this a lot and as much as I can, because I believe that you are sacred beings, and you need a series like Elio Cosavero Mystery Ceremony. The light is on in all our hearts. We have with us marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers. Hugs and love to all, both in each and every one, as soon as possible. The light is on in all our hearts. We have with us marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers and water. Hugs and love to all, both in each and every one, as soon as possible. And let me say the languages, some of them. Mitakuye Oyasin, Mitakuye Koseviral, Namaste. Namaste, let me start with Namaste. 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 Mitakuya Koseviral, Mitakuya Oyasin, Mitakuya Koseviral. Kong San Parks, Koam Parks Culture. Merci. Tio Best, Sedleric. Bahava L'chaim, Shalom Salam. Salam Shalom. Merci. Das Vidanya, Ubuntu. Buenos dias, mir, pace, sayonara, chop chop, good day, many more, many more, all the languages of all of our lands, of all of our heritages, cheerio, of all of our planets, of all of our planet Earth, and we'll also say love and live, ever young, longest, and prosper, not just a few, not just some, but everyone created by Mother, Father, Goddess, God, and all, past, present, and future. And kindness for all, both in each and every one. Sit down like that. We'll drink the milk of human kindness for all, both in each and every one as soon as possible. And the ultimate kindness is to move out of patriarchy into parity. That's why we have to put that kindness first. There's all kinds of kindnesses. But when you're being kind to people who are embedded in patriarchy, they don't understand that what they're doing is subverting that kindness, and it doesn't have the best impact as what you would do if you are not winking at the fact that they are in patriarchy and pretending that it's not important. So so we'll give the milk of human kindness for all, both in each and every one, as soon as possible, and especially thinking of the importance of the mother-child bond, the breastfeeding time, the 2 to 3 years that every child must have, female and male, to have their holy young baby girl and holy baby boy aspect fully developed at the beginning, with the joy of their mother and their families, including their fathers, very much so, as very important in this, and the milk of human kindness throughout life, at all ages and stages of life, and for all people, past, present, and future, as Equinox True Q's Co-Secretary General Szhorter. And now we'll drink the water of loving, living planets that will regain and sustain our planet Earth and all our Earths to be, past, present, and future. And we'll say to all, both in each and every one, as soon as possible. And that is representing all, both in each and every one, as soon as possible, on behalf of them too. And I drink for all of us as Equinox True Q's Co-Secretary Co-Secretary Generals. And we'll celebrate and re-celebrate all our birthdays, conception days, name days, and holy days together as Equinox True Q, starting with our spring and autumnal, golden spring birthdays, months, and then all years round, past, present, and future, very much including mine. You have to go back to mine. A lot of you have missed mine. But I've tried to connect with most of you on yours, and you need to connect with each other as well as with me. That's what it has to be done, not so individualistically, but in a collection of a circle and circles. And so we'll say that again. We'll celebrate and re-celebrate all our birthdays, conception days, name days, and holy days together, past, present, and future, as Equinox True Qs, Co-Secretary Co-Secretary Generals. Okay. And now we're going to do our kisses of our consciousness currencies. And now we're going to kiss our big circle family tree of all of our generations. Our older Shekinahs on top, some have passed but are still with us and available through the stargates to reconnect and with all of our family. And also our current generations of slightly older Shekinahs who can get younger and can become eternally young goddesses. And also our younger Shekinahs and Shekinahs, gods, as soon as they embrace the new millennial global rule and do their co-work with their Shekinahs generations. And you know, the plan that we have as co-federation, not only family members and family and community members, but co-secretary general Szhorter of divine democracy, solar divine democracy. Equinox true Q. So okay, and now it's a very special family to me. People are normally feel intense bonds for their own family, but sometimes bonding is confused. If people have had an experience in early childhood which has affected their bonding, and that's a lot of people in our culture. You'd be amazed how many people didn't have the best bonding in childhood in our culture. That is diminished, but it can be regained once we as a society focus on doing that instead of making weapons and using the wrong energy forms that are killing everyone and to make money. If we focus on our inner children of all people, females and males, our little holy baby girls and holy baby boys, and the divine potential of each person, then people always will have a sense of strong bonds to other human beings. They will always feel ethical, always feel responsive, always be empathic, always be listening as well as talking. All of that is what comes of we focus on the changes that come with the importance of family that come with a society that family and community that is not patriarchal but is parity. So we're including sisters. We have to heal this breach. So important. And this young couple with their Shekinahs on each side, on both sides of their couplehood. And now we'll just do them as a group. And of course, they get their strength from being connected, their strength for good, from being connected to this larger circle that we'll do again our kisses for. And you know who you are, and I'm not, so I'm, of course this includes Margulian, Silverkindian, Zalkindian, Feldmarian, includes Goldbergian, it includes Anna Maria and Ma Patricia, let's put Sunflowerian and singing Cricketian, and it includes Sweet, and it includes Sagan, and it includes a lot more. It includes many names, and we've said them in all of the recent broadcasts that you've heard on this line. So I'm not going to take the time today. Just know that they are included based on the ones that we've already done. They are yet included, all of them. All of the people of the world are included by our doing this. All of the people who've ever lived are included by our doing this. All the people on earth that we can save and give abundant life to reconnect with all of their family tree through the stargates, all the people who live now and all the people who have ever lived. And all the people who ever will live, because once we change to this new system, Everybody gets eternal life. Okay, and so did that. And now we'll do our fruit. And now we'll do our fruit. And we'll say we're going to start fresh with parity, paradisal parity on this on all our planets instead of patriarchal planetocide plutocracy. We're not going to accept that anymore, and we're going to announce our better plan, our better paradigm, which is parity and the new millennial golden rule, and we'll start fresh. Okay, now there are certain men who have become rogues in our family. Most men in this culture are little rogues now because the culture got it all backwards and the feminism was inverted. And instead of focusing on representation and balance of love and work and environmental stewardship, the feminism in the United States codependently over-focused on abortion while the decisions were made by mostly men about it. That is a really a strangely codependent approach to feminism. It wasn't feminism at all. As one woman that I spoke with years ago from Sweden said to me, in the United States, feminism was aborted. Sweden has 50% women on its courts. Sweden has about 50% women in its legislatures. Their children are highly intelligent. Their IQs are not dropping. They have much better family leave than we do. And even in other parts of Europe, they have even better family leave than Sweden. And they're doing great. And they are even ahead of Sweden on solar energy in Germany and Austria. And some of the other cultures and in parts of other places around the world are also doing very, very well in this way. Some of the Panchayat Raj of India, Costa Rica, parts of India, parts of Costa Rica, parts of Argentina and South Africa. It depends where you're at, but everywhere you see there's a parity going on in France, you get a little bit more likelihood of better treatment of children, families, and human beings. So, for example, France has a very high rate of the use of family therapy, and they have very high rate of the use of family therapy, and they use far fewer pills. Their food supply is more natural, and they are less sick. So, I mean, these are things that you can learn from or you ignore. Now, Sweden outlawed nuclear energy some time ago, and other countries have also done that. So, and they also have no, as far as I know, no nuclear weapons. They're not nuclear powers. They don't want to be. Okay, so it's about a peace culture versus a patriarchal culture that's killing itself and killing the world. Show that it's on top in some patriarchal sense of being on top, but not really on top at all. Kind of dumb. I mean, is an ape on top of a genius like Tesla? Is an ape on top? Is an ape with a lot of money in the bank who thinks like an ape on top of Tesla, who gave electricity in the most easy way to all the world? And if he was here today, he'd be giving us solar power as well as different forms of power, which he was already working on, that did not hurt the environment. You know that that's what he'd be doing. So what is the power? Who has power? Buddha held up a flower as the indicator of power. When asked what power of Goddess God was, he said, here. And he just held up a flower. And that's who you are. You're photosynthesis in a human form. Okay. So, so let me say we'll do that. And what was I getting to here? Okay, now I want to make some calls. This is where I get into the part of me that has to have some courage. I have to have the same courage as, I'm not sure if I should let you hear them or just tell you I'm doing them. I am calling some of the family that wants to nab me in a court proceeding at their place of media outlet. I have already done that to some extent yesterday. I'm going to do some more of that today. There's a part of me that is not sure whether to show you this and do it demonstrably, or to wait a little bit and do it when I have all my ducks in my row and then show you and then well, I can't really play a tape, but I can tell you what was done and who was spoken to and who was emailed and so forth, and I could copy the emails. So that's going on, and that's going on today. Because we have several systems, and I'm also contacting some of the medical professionals that have been engaging with our family in the wrong way. That the only rule on earth is the acceptable to the Mother, Father, Goddess, God is the New Millennial Golden Rule. That the only form of medical care and health care that is acceptable to the Mother, Father, Goddess, God includes a full understanding of a person's family and community system, and inclusion of their family and community system into their healing. And that all this boundaried stuff that people have and putting up barriers and not wanting to talk about family or neighbors together is part of our patriarchal problem. And it is not true community and family. It is divided and dissected and depleted, and like depleted uranium. It's really very dangerous. So, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to put this on mute for a minute and give you a screen share while I think about what is my best strategy right now. Because I have to use a lot of logic, and it's a paradoxical situation. And logic in a paradoxical situation is kind of tricky. So I know that not all of you who listen to this are entirely sympathetic yet to me, and what not to me, but to what I'm doing, and to yourselves and one another, because many of you are embedded in extreme hierarchically structured experiences and don't recognize how that is hurting you, and you are unconscious of your own denial. So let's see if I can put the screen share on again. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's not letting me move my mouse here. What I'm really doing is putting the demands of parity in the form of specific demands on certain systems and branches of systems. And I'm daring them to come after me, because I'm telling them as soon as they come after me, they're going to have earthquakes, and big ones. They're going to have other problems and big earthquakes. So, okay, now it's on the screen share. I'm going to put this on mute. phone. Okay, now you can see me making the phone call. You know what? I realized that yesterday when I did this, I disconnected this the phone tree stereo of this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to disconnect the phone tree. So I'm going to just leave this message on the phone tree, and then you can watch online. You can go to the video and you'll watch me making these calls. I think that's the better approach. That way I won't disconnect this message. So I'm going to leave this message. We've done our greeting. You know, I'm making some phone calls. I am doing the spiritual equivalent of what the young person did in front of the Tiananmen tank. I'm saying, no, you cannot, patriarchy, destroy this world. I am calling you on it, and Mother, Father, Goddess, God has got my back. I'm also going to play the tape excerpt.
Hi, this is Lynn Gaffigan. I'm sorry I missed your call. Please leave a message after the tone, and I'll return your call as soon as possible. Thank you.
Hello, Lynn. You don't know me. My name is Dr. Reall, One Family. I have a website that has been worked on by many people at 5050now.wordpress.com. I'm calling you in an effort to avert an earthquake and potential Fukushima-like radiation release triggered by the fact that the Lake County courts have included on their docket an inappropriate case that is clearly a outcropping of patriarchal process in a family that should have received family therapy instead of court procedure. And I have told the assistant to the justice on this, her name is Tanisha, and the justice is Veronica O'Malley, that it is important that they remove this case from their docket and refer the family immediately for family therapy.
Review or re-record your message, press 1. To mark your message urgent, press 2. To mark your message private, press 3. Marked urgent. Your message has been sent. To send a message to another subscriber, enter the area code and phone number of the
Your call. Please leave a message after the tone, and I'll return your call as soon as possible. Thank you.
Hi, Lynn. I just wanted to say the reason I'm doing this in this way is I am a cousina of the most famous geobiologist who ever lived. Her name is Lynn Margulies. She passed from this earth some years ago, but she was known for the Gaia effect theory, that everything on earth is all interconnected. And I believe that there is some rogue patriarchy occurring in the court systems of the United States region of our planet, and that what has occurred in my family is a ideal hologram of patriarchy occurring in a out of control manner in a family, interfacing with a court system and legal system, interfacing also with the media system, because this family is also involved in some media connections related to this matter. So I am trying to say, now if you go to 5050now.wordpress.com, you'll see that I have a deep spiritual desire to save the planet Earth and all the people on it, and to give them eternal life, in fact, via opening of the stargates. I'm also, through my Lynn Margulies branch, related to the family of Carl Sagan, and you might say I'm a very real living Ellie of contact. And so I'm trying to give humanity a great quantum leap into the future of opening stargates and having a sustainable planet. But I believe that what is occurring with the case that does involve my cousin, whose name is Reall, as the a person who is bringing the case, but it's really involving the family system and a patriarchal embedded system interacting with institutions. with courts and with laws and so forth, and with medical people too. So I wanted you to know about this, and you can read about it. If you scroll down on the website, you'll see there are some beginnings of a discussion of this matter and the potential for an earthquake. I had predicted this in 2013 when he first began this inappropriate use of law, but there is no way for lawyers to know that they're inappropriate when our media is so controlled that people don't know the difference between a court system that has 50% women, such as Sweden and France do, and many other countries do, and ours, which has a very marginal group, at best at 1/3, and usually the higher echelons are mostly male, and also the laws given to them to enact and to decide upon are made by legislatures that are profoundly male, and particularly the national regional legislature of this continent, and of this part of the continent, is profoundly, overwhelmingly male, so that the laws that are derived are acted upon are very limited, and the people who have made them are very much.
You've reached the maximum time allowed to make your recording. To review or re-record your message, press 1. To mark your message urgent, press 2. Marked urgent. To review or your message has been sent. To send a message to another subscriber, enter the area code and phone number of that subscriber, or press the star key to enter your own mailbox. Nothing has been selected. To send a message to another subscriber, enter the area code and phone number of that subscriber, or press the star key to enter.
Thank you for calling.
Hi, Tanisha. This is Rochelle, One Family. Rochelle One Family. You have me on your docket as a different name, but I like to go by Estrella Mariama Raja, one family, and you know I've mentioned to you the website is at 5050now.wordpress.com. Now you will find on the website more information about my prediction of an earthquake. If you continue to allow the case that was brought by my cousin to be heard in an adversarial hierarchical courtroom, as opposed to just giving it to a family therapist, which is where this kind of matter belongs. I believe it was in error to take this case at all, and it's a sign of what's going wrong in our court systems. I also want to say very clearly, and I have told this to many other people now, probably several hundred who are in the Chicago area as well as around the world, that this system, now I have a PhD in family and community systems, and I'm a direct cousin of Lynn Margulies, the most famous geobiologist in the world that ever lived, and who was also the wife of Carl Sagan. You'll see on the Carl Alexander Sagan, Lynn Alexander Margulies was her full name, and Carl Alexander Sagan. I have understood at a very deep systems level that most of the problems on our earth, and particularly those that threaten human life at any level, pertain to the stress of living under patriarchy and the failure to achieve parity decision-making and balance of love and work and balance of the appreciation of what we call the divine feminine and divine masculine. And therefore, what is occurring in your courtroom is a precipitant danger to earthquakes, and I have told many people about this. Now, it also involves a media company, and I have already been in communication with this company that I want them to be called as witnesses, and I am calling them as witnesses. I already have in many of the works I've already disseminated to many millions of people, and that we have an interaction here of a patriarchal legal system, a patriarchal family system, a patriarchal media system, and also impinging on several of the members of this family, a patriarchal medical system, which has endangered several of the members of this family, that was already discussed in the letter that I sent to the court in 2013, and apparently was ignored by a male judge, and now is being shifted over to a female judge who is, as I regard it, held hostage to a court system that doesn't have the gender parity that, for example, France and Sweden have, of 50% women, and there's many other systems around the world that have more women than those in the United States. But I am saying that parity is a human right that protects both women and protects both females and males at all ages, and therefore any court system that does not follow the new millennial golden rule, which is at 5050now.wordpress.com, is not only an infringement of human rights, but a unholy relationship to the mother, father, creator of this planet and the universe. I am what I say to be, as best as I am able to be, on that website, first but not last or only world savior. I call myself co-secretary general, co-saviora. And also, if you like science fiction, I'm a true Q, or an equinox true Q. True Q in the science Star Trek series did something to save a planet that was on the verge of ecocide. I believe that the region of Illinois will be the beginning of ecocide, of a total destruction of this planet with an event at the New Madrid Fault, if I don't make this public. I am doing this on purpose because I'm thinking that by doing this, I don't think people are going to listen to me. So I am assisting Mother, Father, Goddess, God to give you some kind of rumbling, low-level earthquake there. A little bit of rolling like Rollin'. And cue you that at this time, this is inappropriate. If you cannot relieve the risk by taking the case off the docket already and notifying the people involved that this is inappropriate use of court, and that also that you agree that a court cannot function properly for the people anywhere in the world if it does not have parity of lawmaking and parity of decision-making. And also, I'm sure you know that there's a lot of restorative and reparative systems of justice now that involve family circles and family and community circles that would be much more appropriate use of this kind of matter. And I would like to hear from you and from Veronica with regard to this in whatever way you'd like to call me. And of course, you can call me. You have my number. And I also want to say that Veronica's surname is the name of O'Malley, and O'Malleys are very involved in the Genuine Progress Indicator, which is part of the New Millennial Golden Rule. And they have distinguished themselves, the Curran O'Malley family, in bringing the better justice of the Genuine Progress Indicator to our justice and economic systems. So I really look forward to talking with Veronica, because I think that you and she can become very heroic heroines in helping the world shift out of a very dangerous paradigm to one that will sustain and assist our planet from devastation. Now, I am also, some of the people in this matter are in the Los Angeles area. And I'm also predicting a similar earthquake there at the Diablo Canyon nuclear plant if this is allowed to go on. If this case is heard in Illinois, it also could trigger a Diablo Canyon quake. You're on the New Madrid fault. Diablo Canyon is on some other faults on the West Coast. And I believe that the very involvement of the people of this family and the intensity of the patriarchy in which they handle their family lives, because they weren't properly educated, as most lawyers are not properly educated as to the difference between parity decision-making and patriarchal decision-making, are at risk. And they are putting themselves at risk, and I'm letting the people in that area also know, including the respondents. I do not regard this as a legitimate court order. I regard this as a dangerous misuse of already not commonsensical and not proper law. And you can read a lot more about common sense as the original founding document of the United States region, which was very different founding document than the Constitution, and it included women fully, included indigenous people, included people of color, and did not allow for property requirements to interfere with either service or media. So I think that you have to understand, I am calling upon you with my belief that the Mother, Father, Goddess, God is behind me in saying this to you, and that you should, for your own sakes, so you don't have a more serious earthquake, remove it as quickly as possible. If you allow that case to proceed, I have no intention of responding to this. To me, it's not an intelligent human activity. It is a primitive human activity and does not have a place in the 21st century and the new millennia. You have the ability to have reparative restorative justice and parity in your courtrooms everywhere in the world. You can do that right today. You can read about how on the website, and please feel free to call me. And I am broadcasting this. And I've already shared this now with probably 10,000 people, at least. So at least, and in all over the world, not just in North America. So please, I would like to talk with Valerie as a human being so that she can help avert any earthquake there and not be held responsible even for a low-level earthquake, because even low-level earthquakes do have considerable property damage often, and you would not want to be in that situation either. So you are giving I've given you this warning. I believe that it's much more serious risk that if I don't give this warning, that the denial system around the need for parity in North America and around the world will be so continued and so extreme that you will have a much worse earthquake. And therefore, I cannot address this in any other but a deep systemic way. I don't regard any human being as my enemy. I'm not an adversarial person. There is only, to me, two paradigms that are versus each other here: parity and patriarchy. And you know my number. I'll give it to you again.
recorded, press 4. Has been sent. You have reached the voicemail system for Lake County.
Okay, we're getting close to the time of the broadcast needing to stop because I like to send emails to my family around this time. So I'm going to be continuing to make a number of calls. They're going to be going to the respondents who are involved in the media, who are involved in this case. They're going to be not only the person, but their colleagues and the media corporate headquarters. I'm going to be calling potentially some environmental divisions within the state of Illinois and people who work in those arenas. And I'm going to be calling people who, I have already called a number of people who will be affected by an earthquake in Illinois and any adverse situations for their children in Illinois. And so I have predicted all of this. Nobody is listening to me. Nobody is listening to me except the Mother, Father, Goddess, God is listening to me. And they would like you to listen to me because they know that patriarchy is the real danger. And also that parity is truly the way of your obtaining eternal life, which they created you for. So how about it? Okay, I think that's going to be my broadcast for today. I'll put the screen share back up. I think we'll put the Statue of Liberty that I feel that I inherently, the Statue of Liberty is a little bit here. And let my words signify the same announcement that the music does. The same intensity and level of potential and boldly going where no one has been before, but where we can go as a happy family or we can go as an extinct species. You have to decide. Okay.